Hey, this is Teddy Burris, your LinkedIn coach and trainer. And the question I got today was, what do you do if someone that you don't know tries to be friends with you or to connect with you on social media? And I think it's a really important question to have because I really think it sets the thought process of a very deliberate strategy and then a process for executing that strategy for connecting on social media. So let me give you some insights to my strategy and then a little bit about my process. First of all, my strategy is pretty deliberate. I want more and more people who are highly relevant to me to know who I am and what I do in the context of my business and my community. I also am a huge networker, so I like to meet people in real life and where relevant and appropriate, connect with them on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever relevant and appropriate, so that I can stay aware of them and they can stay aware of me. Now, my strategy says that on Facebook, the only people I accept a Facebook friend request from are people who I have met in person or talked with via Skype or Zoom or whatever or WhatsApp, whatever communications tool we decide to talk together through, so that I have a real life engaging conversation, maybe virtually, or in real life through a social event or community event or a speech or whatever, so I can make a connection, a real human connection. And then after making that real human connection, if I feel that that connection is real enough and they send me a Facebook friend request, I'm going to accept it. If I don't think the connection's real enough, then I'm going to encourage them to look for me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube. Okay? Facebook for me is all about real human connections. So that, because real humans are having conversations about lots of stuff in life. Now, LinkedIn's a little different. For LinkedIn, I don't have to have met you, but you have to be relevant to me in my business in some way or another, or relevant to me in my community in some way or another. It all comes down to the word relevance. And if I feel that you're relevant to me in some way or another, or I'm relevant to you in some way or another, then I'm likely to accept the invite. However, most people don't tell me the relevance. And so therefore I have to ask them via LinkedIn message, which you can do, by the way, through the connecting process. And then I give them time to answer that. If they don't respond and give me an answer, then they're deciding not to define the relevance. And at that point, I'm deciding not to connect. I don't want to connect with people just for the sake of building a huge network. I have a large LinkedIn network, and I'm blessed that it's not just a bunch of connections. So another area about connecting, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, is I don't just connect. There's a process in my strategy that says once we've connected, I have to engage with that person. Which is another reason why if I send you a message on LinkedIn and ask you why you want to connect in very polite words, and you don't respond, then you're very clearly telling me that you don't want to engage with me. So I'm very purposeful about once I connect, sending that person back a message, an email, or a phone call, and trying to start the dialogue all about them, not all about me, from the very initial connection. Because again, it's not about collecting connections. It's about making a connection and finding opportunities to get into conversations to discover where there are opportunities to help each other. That's what it's all about. And so, great question about what do I do when people who don't know me want to become friends or connect with me. I have a very deliberate strategy, a very deliberate process. And I encourage you to have the same thing. What is your strategy for making friends on Facebook? What is your strategy for connecting on LinkedIn? There are many people out there who chose a strategy that long-term failed them. Example, I have people who said, I will connect on Facebook, become Facebook friends with anybody that I did a public speech to. Now, the problem with that is that you rapidly hit that 5,000 friend number, and now you struggle to add real friends to your Facebook network. And then you have to make decisions about who do I want to unfriend, and that becomes problematic as well. Now, there are ways of dealing with that as well, but my point is there are lots of people who start out with a strategy on Facebook that in the long term didn't work for them. There are also lots of people who had a strategy for connecting on LinkedIn that also failed for them because they didn't think long term. I have lots of connections that I know of who have 30,000 LinkedIn connections. And many of those people they have no relevance to. And now they can't connect with more, and they have to go through the process of purging out their LinkedIn connections. So my point is, if you're going to make a decision to connect on social media, then think through your strategy and then think through your process so that you're building a very relevant and meaningful network on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, etc., etc. Because you want to make sure that long term your social media networks are mutually relevant, mutually beneficial, of interest, and so that you're creating value and not just creating a huge network. I'm Teddy, your LinkedIn coach and trainer, and I hope these ideas are helpful to you.